This is Blackjacks Weekly.
Presented by Bud Light on 97.3 ESPN.
Live from Chickies and Pete's in Egg Harbor Township. With your hosts, the voice of the Blackjacks, Nick Kosko.
And head coach Ron James.
Now, Blackjacks Weekly.
Live from Chickies and Pete's in Egg Harbor Township, it's Blackjacks Weekly presented by Bud Light. I'm your host, Nick Kosko, joined alongside Atlantic City Blackjacks head coach Ron James. It's week 2. It's still the preseason, but we are getting closer to the regular season, just 9 days away from the season opener, April 27th in Philadelphia. The Blackjacks taking on the three-time champions, Philadelphia. So, Coach, glad you're with me once again. We'll have Warren Smith, one of our fellow quarterbacks, join the program in a little bit. How you doing? Week 2 of training camp almost over. Regular season's approaching very fast now.
It's going to be quickly on us. You know, we're just ending training camp at this point. Tomorrow will be our last practice of training camp, and you know, it's been a rough camp in that the competition level has been very high, and we really like that. And some tough decisions have to be made here at the end of the week to get to our final roster. But we're excited about it. We really believe that we've got a good team this year.
Now, before we actually get to the cut-down portion of training camp, I'll ask you about that in a little bit. You know, with the regular season now, as we just mentioned, 9 days away. You mentioned tomorrow's the final day of training camp. You got to make those final cuts. But now with a little less guys on the roster, you start with 35. You're down to about 28. About 28, is that correct? You have to make a couple more cuts to get down to the final game day roster of 24. How does practice change at all in terms of the approach of what you want to see from those bubble guys, or do you kind of just take a normal approach in terms of how a game day practice will look, or how a game week practice will look?
Well, certainly in the second week it changes. It changes in a couple of respects. First of all, you add your special teams element to it, which you don't do in the first week because, you know, you're just not ready for that, and the sheer numbers don't allow you to do that in arena football with the smaller field. So the second week also enables us to get down to brass tacks at certain position groups, and knowing that those numbers are going to be pretty much what they are come game day. So 4 players that have to be, you know, excused from the team at some point really means that we're getting better quality reps in and out of every position group.
Now, speaking of quality reps, let's go back to just last weekend. You guys actually scrimmaged Philadelphia, which is very interesting considering you guys are playing them next week to open up the season on the road. We talked a little bit about that last week, but now that the scrimmage has come and gone, what'd you take out of that joint practice and seeing a different team? These guys could actually hit anybody else aside from their own teammates.
Well, first of all, it's something I normally don't do. I would not want to scrimmage a team that you're playing first week because you want to have a few things in your back pocket. But I think we are okay with that. We reserved the right to run some stuff that we didn't show them in the scrimmage. But we also, you know, it was important for us to get that scrimmage because we had a lot of young, untested guys, and we knew we were going to go against a good quality football team. It's a great facility they have over there, and I've known the head coach for a long time. So we knew that we were going to be in a good environment to be able to do what we needed to do first and foremost, which is to evaluate our players in that situation. And you can't evaluate under live circumstances as much as you try to do it in practice. They're always going to hold back a little bit on their own teammates. They didn't have to do that against Philadelphia, and I think we acquitted ourselves very well in the scrimmage.
Now, in terms of that scrimmage, you mentioned the live reps and the actual game time reps. Did you guys go over a full? Did you guys do a full quarter? Did you guys go over at least tell our audience? Is it a full quarter? Did you guys just do certain situations like a 2-minute drill or like a 1-minute 30-second drill? Fourth quarter, down by 5 points, need a touchdown. Did you what was the stuff like that?
No, we really didn't work on situations, and really I didn't want to because I don't want to give away our strategies. There's a certain way that we promote or coach our team and make sure that we're ready for different situations, and you don't want to tip your hand there. But really it was a combination between having like a regular practice and a game environment. So, you know, we stretched at different ends of the field like you would in a game, and then we broke up. We did individual drills. We did some 4-on-4s, some 1-on-1s. We did a lot of things that you would do in a practice environment you would never do in a game environment. It was great because you were able to see players at their rawest and find out, you know, what can they do? What do they look like on 1-on-1s? And are they what we thought they were? You know, when you see them in practice, you see certain things, and then you kind of either verify or disagree with what you've seen during the week. And then finally we finished up in a regular series situation, offense against defense, moving up and down the field. But we did that in a controlled way with no kicking game. and then also just doing it by series. So we didn't do it, by field position or by scores. We just did it by series. If we moved the ball and we scored on every one of our possessions in the scrimmage, and we stopped them a few times, and so we felt good walking out of the scrimmage as far as how we performed. At the same time, we understand it's a veteran team, and they always kind of hold back a little bit. The coach is going to sandbag you and tell you how good you did and all that stuff and pat you on the back, and then game one, it's a different animal.
With guys might be going, 75% of that scrimmage.
Exactly.
And you think yourself, come on, don't BS me here.
Yeah, it is what it is. So we just played it through, and I think it was good to see that, because I think it gave us some confidence, because when you put a new team together, and we are an expansion team, I think there's a lot of, how is everybody going to gel? How's everybody going to play together? In the big moments, are the guys going to perform as teammates, or are they going to do their own thing? And I think we really found that we've got a good bunch of professionals, and we're ready to gel, ready to take that first step in Philly.
Well, it's always great to get something out of it, considering you're going up against a different team, as we mentioned before, training camp. It's a short training camp, as the season is going to be here in just a blink of an eye. Now, you mentioned before how you don't normally do this in terms of these joint practices or joint scrimmages, particularly against the team that you're going to play week one. And I get that they're only an hour, basically about 45 minutes from your facility up to their facility, and you really can't. You're not going to go travel across the country to Columbus to go scrimmage them.
Right.
When you had this initial idea of training camp, was it always in your mind that you were going to scrimmage Philadelphia, despite the fact of them being on the schedule week number one, or did you think, or this kind of come together kind of last minute with head coach Clint Ozell?
It came together last minute. Really, what I thought about it, and Warren could probably tell you a little bit about it as a quarterback. I script the whole practice schedule through the whole preseason, and we had it all ready to go. So that we didn't account for that day, and we've had to do some adjusting here this week and get ourselves into proper week mode. But the thing about it was we didn't plan on doing that, but when it came about and we had the opportunity, we talked it over as coaches. I talked with Coach Dozell, and we decided we would do it a certain way, and I think we did it in a way that was beneficial to both clubs, and still not tipping our hand as to what strategies we'd use for the game. And it's going to be a great game out there. We're looking forward to it.
Might have one of those Philly special-esque plays in the back pocket maybe for week one. Or
we got a few of those things now. I'm going to tell you, there's no lack of imagination between myself, Shane Stafford, Warren, and Randy. I mean, we got a lot of brains in that room thinking about, maybe we should try this, maybe we should try that. So it's good.
We're live from Chickies and Pete's in Egg Harbor Township. Blackjacks Weekly. Nick Kosko alongside Atlantic City Blackjacks head coach Ron James. Now, Coach, we talked about this last week, and for arena football fans, new and old, they pretty much know the Philadelphia Soul. They're getting to know the Atlantic City Blackjacks now. Ron Jaworski even said this could be a rivalry that's going to build up. We talked about that a little bit last week. Our guy, Coffee Jones, at least I saw, he caught some video. There was some bad blood.
Yeah,
I mean, we know what's going to happen between the linemen. The linemen are those guys in the trenches. I mean, I know. Looking at me, I don't look like a lineman, but even way back when in high school, I happened to play guard. I know it gets dirty in those trenches. Would you like to see it? How'd you like to see that fire out of your lineman going against the Philadelphia Soul lineman in some of those drills? And it got a little heated. We almost came to fisticuffs there.
It did, and it actually was fisticuffs. The guys were swinging at each other a little bit, and we broke it up quickly. But the thing about it is that I challenged them the last couple of days leading up to that to be more physical in the lines, because what always happens in training camp, they're dialed down a little bit. They're not trying it as hard as they can to finish plays. I'm not saying they're not trying hard. They're always trying hard. They're professionals, but they're trying also to keep their teammates safe. Now they're in an environment where they can just let it go. And believe me, they let it go. We had one play that Coffee Jones had on his Instagram and had on his Twitter feed, and it was an old-fashioned Donnybrook. It was each other. The whole group came together. The only thing I'm pleased about is the DBs and wide receivers didn't come over the wall and start jumping into the pile.
Now that's what I was going to ask you. I'm surprised. I mean, the linemen are always going to get physical, but usually you see those training camp fights between the wide receivers and the DBs because there's a lot. There's usually a lot of jawing. There's a lot of I'm going to beat you one-on-one. More so without even touching you. I'm just going to run by you and beat you one-on-one. I'm actually surprised those guys didn't come in and join in on the fracas.
There's so much of there's a pack mentality, right? If one guy gets in, you want to protect your teammate. You want to get in on it. Your blood's boiling, and all of a sudden your adrenaline's going, and everything's just going 100 miles an hour, and you just jump in it because that's what you want to do because your aggressive nature takes over. And we did that to an extent, and then we got ourselves out of it. We're refocused, got ourselves back into the drill, and like I said, we got what we needed to get out of it. We got the workload in, so did Philadelphia. I think that, they did a fine job in the scrimmage, as did we, and I think that going into the first week, it's going to be – there's going to be no pulled punches, no pun intended. Each team's going to know what they've got, and we're going to go at it hard.
No Oklahoma drill. I mean, you guys you do the old school stuff, or good old bowl in the ring from the youth football days.
Not versus another team. You don't want to do any of that stuff because that'll certainly get a lot of fists flying.
Just one last thing before we end the segment, Coach. You mentioned special teams. Now the fact that you can put that in the second week of training camp. For people who don't know arena football, special teams is pretty much limited to the kickoff, the onside kick, kickoff return, and also field goals, and also the field goal unit.
Yeah.
So what kind of things do you do in practice to ensure your kickers and your hands team, so to speak, for the onside kicks are all ready for game day, and all? Do you do different scenarios, or you kind of just say, all right, let's rep this out about 10 to 20 times?
Well, usually what we do is we put the practice plan together so that we're going over one segment of the kicking game at a time, and we'll show some video clips to show guys how it should be run, talk about the rules, talk about where we need to put everybody, and then put the proper body types in those positions for all the special teams work. And, that's some tinkering. Some guys, you think they can run down on the kickoff and maybe don't tackle as well as others, and so you're going to always tinker around with who plays where. But right now, it's all about being sound in your strategy and making sure that you're not taking advantage of in that phase of the game. Because early in the season, that is the biggest feeling out process. Most teams have been practicing their offense and their defense. Their special teams, they got an idea of what they're going to do. But oftentimes, with a 24-man roster, you're utilizing the bottom third of your roster on special teams, trying to keep a lot of your guys, healthy, or at least, better wind early in the season. So when you're playing those guys, you're not necessarily knowing those players. I mean, there's a lot of guys like on Philly's roster, for example, that will make the team in that bottom third. I don't know their full body of work. I might have heard of them, might have seen them with other teams, but I've never coached them or I've never seen them in a live competition situation in arena football. So it's all about making sure that we get the looks right, making sure that we're sound in what we do, execute at the highest level, and that's one phase of the game that could really turn the tide early in the season and put a team, on the map, so to speak.
It's Blackjacks Weekly presented by Bud Light. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side, quarterback Warren Smith is going to join the program. We'll talk about his arena football journey, his roots, so to speak, right here in South Jersey. Make sure you keep it locked. It's Blackjacks Weekly presented by Bud Light, live from Chickies and Pete's in Egg Harbor Township on 97.3 ESPN. Well, we are not going to go to break right now. We're going to have to little issue back in studio, so we'll keep it here real quick. And before Warren joins the program, coaches, talk about him real quick. We had Randy Hippert on last week, and now you look at a guy like Warren Smith, a bit younger than Randy, but obviously he has experience in this league too. How has he done so far in this training camp and gelling in that quarterback room with Randy and others?
Well, I mean, he's been around this league, so he's a natural. And in one word, having Warren Smith, I feel blessed. You got a guy that could start on any other team. He's a Jersey guy, jumped on board early before a lot of players really knew anything about the Blackjacks. He said, to coin a phrase, he was all in early, right? So, and that was important to me because I knew that, in that regard, we would have a top-level quarterback in whatever role he was going to play, whether it's to be a number one or a number two quarterback or whatever it is. I knew I had a true professional, somebody that knows the game better than almost every quarterback in the league at this point, and also is a team guy. I mean, he sees things. He's always willing to give me input, willing to give Coach Stafford input, willing to give Randy Hippert input. I mean, we're all in it together, and he's one of those guys that understands that. He's a coach at the high school level. He understands what coaching's all about. He understands his game really well, understands how to relate to his teammates. I don't think you'd find a teammate, past or present, that wouldn't have a good thing to say about Warren Smith, and I've only known him for about a week and a half. So, to me, it's very impressive the way he handles himself as a professional. Now, a week and a half is going to turn into a full season. We'll talk to Warren Smith on the other side of this break. So this is Blackjacks Weekly presented by Bud Light, live from Chickies and Pete's in Egg Harbor Township. Don't go away anywhere. Stay right here on 97.3 ESPN.
Listen to Sixers Nets
Game 3
tonight in the Eastern Conference Playoffs, exclusively on 97.3 ESPN.
It's Sixers Nets Game 3.
Series tied 1-1.
Coverage begins at 8 p.m.
Sixers playoff basketball with Tom McInnes.
The catch, the shot, the three, swish.
The Sixers face the Brooklyn Nets
Game 3.
tonight, exclusively on 97.3 ESPN.
Ever wonder what ingredients are in Bud Light? Just check the packaging. We brew with hops, barley, water, and rice. Ever wonder what ingredients are in Coors Light? You can't check the packaging. You have to go to their website, download a PDF, and scroll to page 3. There it is. Coors Light brews with hop extract, barley, water, and corn syrup. Bud Light. brewed with no corn syrup. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri. Based on information available at MillerCoors.com as of January 16, 2019.
Tilton Fitness, the official gym of the Atlantic City Blackjack players and Diamonds Dance Team, invites you to visit one of our 7 locations throughout New Jersey. Try one of Tilton Fitness's award-winning group exercise classes with over 125 to choose from every week. Use our state-of-the-art cardio and resistance equipment. Take a swim in our pool. Relax in our jacuzzi, steam room, or sauna. And complimentary babysitting for up to 2 hours. Tilton Fitness. See what we have to offer you.
Something good to know from First Bank of Sea Isle City. We have all of today's innovative banking products just like the big banks, but we offer something they can't. A personal community focus. Let's get you started with Card Valet. Reduce your risk of fraud in just a few simple clicks. Set your limits, your locations, and get instant alerts. First Bank of Sea Isle City, a community bank that delivers more for you every day. Personal service, today's technology from the people who truly care. Learn more at firstbankseaisle.com.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The great thing about facts, they're proven. Like the fact that crude oil contains impurities. Or that base oil made from natural gas is 99.5% free of impurities. And the fact that Pennzoil is the first synthetic motor oil made from natural gas, not crude oil. It gives you unbeatable engine protection. The proof is in the Pennzoil. Based on Sequence 4A wear test using SAE 5W30. Available on Amazon.
The doctors at Reconstructive Orthopedics are dedicated to getting you expert orthopedic care you need for your bone, joint, muscle, or ligament injury or condition. When you need exceptional care focused on you, see the same orthopedic doctors that treat the Atlantic City Blackjacks at Reconstructive Orthopedics. Available in Bordentown, Cherry Hill, Medford, Morristown, Sewell, Vineland, and Voorhees. Reconstructive Orthopedics, focused on you.
Ever wonder what ingredients are in Bud Light? Just check the packaging. We brew with hops, barley, water, and rice. Ever wonder what ingredients are in Coors Light? You can't check the packaging. You have to go to their website, download a PDF, and scroll to page 3. There it is. Coors Light brews with hop extract, barley, water, and corn syrup. Bud Light, brewed with no corn syrup. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri. Based on information available at MillerCoors.com as of January 16, 2019.
If you win the Mega Millions jackpot, you could celebrate by taking all of your friends out for a nice Italian meal in Rome. With $175 million on the line, anything can happen in Jersey.
This is Blackjacks Weekly.
Presented by Bud Light on 97.3 ESPN.
Live from Chickies and Pete's in Egg Harbor Township.
Back here at Chickies and Pete's in Egg Harbor Township, Blackjacks Weekly presented by Bud Light. Nick Kosko with you. We were just talking with head coach Ron James as we do every week, but now we'll bring in quarterback Warren Smith. He's going to join the program. And Warren, I got to start out real quick. I guess welcome home. Welcome back to South Jersey for the Arena Football League.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's great to be home. It's great to be home near family and friends, and being able to play professional football and represent the state of New Jersey. It's great.
Now, you're a Jersey guy. You went to Lacey Township High School. You played quarterback there. You coach there now. You teach there. So you're a Jersey guy. You were playing in Washington last year, making that really long commute. But now you had the opportunity to come back home right here in Atlantic City. You're not that far now. What's it mean to you to be able to play for Atlantic City, a brand-new franchise, but now you're much closer to home, and it makes the things, I guess, definitely a lot easier?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, last year I was playing for Washington, like you said, and, I had to go away for training camp for 2 weeks, and, just commuting back and forth from the games and the one practice a week was really tough. Waking up at 4 in the morning, getting to position meetings by 7:30, missing all the Baltimore and D.C. traffic. So once I found out there was an Atlantic City team coming, then once I heard Coach James and Coach Stafford were going to be on staff, my eyes lit up, man. And I was excited just to play professional football for a team in New Jersey, because if you would have asked me a couple years ago would there ever been an arena football team, AFL in New Jersey, I probably wouldn't have believed it. But once it all came full circle, I jumped on the opportunity right away, and I'm blessed about it. I thank Coach James and everyone that's given me the opportunity, and I'm looking forward to making this year awesome.
Well, we look forward to seeing you play this year. What can you take away from your experiences in Washington last year? Obviously, that's a team that won the Arena Bowl last year, but you just mentioned it. You had to wake up at 4 in the morning to avoid the traffic. You had to get into position meetings by 7 o'clock. Obviously, you were away for 2 weeks during training camp. You had to manage your teaching job and as well as playing professional football. What can you take away from that experience last year Now, again, it's easier now with Atlantic City being right here, much closer to home. What do you take away from last year and that you can use as experience for this year?
Yeah, well, I mean, this just like we said, the commute's obviously a lot easier. But last year, from a football standpoint, we had a lot of ups and downs, and more downs than ups if you look at our record. But but we won the whole thing, and the coolest thing I got out of it was that it wasn't how we started; it's how we finished. And we started off shaky, and we didn't win many games early on at all. And the team stuck together last year, and we persevered through all the adversity, and at the end we were the last man standing. So it was really cool seeing a group of guys buy into what we were trying to do, even when things weren't going well. And as soon as Coach Stafford got in there around like week 6, week 7, you felt the tide start to turn. And by that time, it was summer, so I was there full time, and I really got to work with Coach Shane in a hotel. And I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot from Nick Davila down there. The whole coaching staff down there, they did a really good job with me, and they helped me out and getting me where I had to get to. So I could take a lot of lessons from that last year and apply them to this year. And hopefully we don't start as slow, and I don't think we will. We definitely won't. But last year was great, but I'm looking forward to a better one this year.
Now, you mentioned talent you worked with last year, guys like Shane Stafford, who's now on this staff here in Atlantic City. You work with Nick Davila. He is a phenomenal quarterback in this league for a long time, has a lot of experience in other football. But now you're working with a guy, Randy Hippert, who was the MVP just a couple years ago. What's that quarterback room like? And we talked a little bit about that with him last week. He had a lot of great things to say about you, but all of a sudden you guys are working together. You have Shane Stafford as your offensive coordinator. What is that like, knowing that you've been able to work with those guys now full-time for 2 weeks and now you're heading into the regular season?
Oh, it's awesome. And Randy's a true professional. And I'll tell you what, he does a lot of things that not a lot of people know about really well. I watch him almost every single step he's out there. Like while he's taking the snap in the huddle, talking to players, talking to coaches, game planning. Like I said, he's a true pro, and he does a lot of good things. And he makes players better around him, including the quarterbacks in the quarterback position, and he even helps out the coaches sometimes too. He's a coach on the field, just like I try to be. I've known Randy for a while. I've watched him play. I played against him. I was in camp with him in 2013 and down in Tampa for a little bit. But he just gets better every year, and people don't realize how good of a thrower he is and how strong his arm and how good his deep ball is. He does a lot of good things, and I'm excited to play with him this year, learn from him, and make our quarterback room as strong as possible, and hopefully that affects our whole football team.
I'll leave you here with this one. Obviously, we mentioned before that you work at Lacey Township High School, your alma mater, you're a teacher and a coach. What can you take from that type of experience and bring it to your teammates, your coaching staff, and also yourself as a player, knowing that you're coaching football, but you're still playing? It's kind of a very unique situation.
Yeah, it's actually like a dream come true because I love teaching, I love coaching, and I love playing. So I can do all three in 1 year. It's great. You learn. You understand where the coaches are coming from. When coaches are going through decision making and game planning, and you really start to respect what the coaches are going through, especially at the professional level. When I'm dealing with it at the high school level and I'm stressed out, I can only imagine what the professional coaches are going through. And you just learn how to deal with certain situations, and you see both sides of it. And I think that's the biggest thing. But I love being a player, and I'm going to play as long as I possibly can. And I'll worry about the coaching when fall comes around.
All right, Nick Kosko alongside quarterback Warren Smith. It's Blackjacks Weekly presented by Bud Light, live from Chickies and Pete's in Egg Harbor Township. We're going to take a quick break on the other side. Final segment of the show, we'll bring back head coach Ron James into the mix. A little rapid-fire questions, some big ones, and maybe a little golf talk for about a minute or so. Make sure to keep it locked here. Blackjacks Weekly presented by Bud Light right here on 97.3 ESPN.
This is Mays and Aton with Harry Mays and Aton Shander.
Coming up on the next Mays and Aton, Harry, it's a Friday edition. That means we're on the road. We'll be in Oaks at the Oaks Race and Sportsbook, hanging out from noon to 2, reacting to the Sixers.
Yeah, right. We're going to be breaking down Game 3 and also looking ahead to all the weekend action.
So join the fun weekdays noon till 2 with Mays and Aton on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app.
Ever wonder what ingredients are in Bud Light? Just check the packaging. We brew with hops, barley, water, and rice. Ever wonder what ingredients are in Coors Light? You can't check the packaging. You have to go to their website, download a PDF, and scroll to page 3. There it is. Coors Light brews with hop extract, barley, water, and corn syrup. Bud Light, brewed with no corn syrup. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri. Based on information available at MillerCoors.com as of January 16, 2019.
The doctors at Reconstructive Orthopedics are dedicated to getting you expert orthopedic care you need for your bone, joint, muscle, or ligament injury or condition. When you need exceptional care focused on you, see the same orthopedic doctors that treat the Atlantic City Blackjacks at Reconstructive Orthopedics. Available in Bordentown, Cherry Hill, Medford, Morristown, Sewell, Vineland, and Voorhees. Reconstructive Orthopedics, focused on you.
Escape 36-month lease with $2,999 down, 10,500 miles per year, no security deposit. Savings include factory rebate and dealer discount with approved credit through Ford Credit. Tax, title, and license extra. Ends April 30th. Number one claim from 2018 total new vehicle sales per Ford report.
Everyone's talking about it. Truck and SUV buyers are coming from all over New Jersey and Philly for it. It's Truck Month, and it's only at number one Lewiston Ford. General Manager Ivan Nelson, why is everyone so excited?
Truck Month is the biggest sale of the year at Lewiston Ford. Save $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2018 Ford F-150s, or get 0% APR financing for 72 months on select 2019 Ford F-150s.
Or drive a new 2019 Ford Escape SE for only $189 a month.
You'll save up to $6,500 off MSRP on all remaining 2018 Ford EcoSports.
Make the money-saving drive to Lewiston Ford, the number one volume Ford dealer in Cumberland County, Salem County, and Cape May County.
North Delsey Drive in Vineland. Online at LewistonFord.com.
Tilton Fitness, the official gym of the Atlantic City Blackjack players and Diamonds Dance Team, invites you to visit one of our 7 locations throughout New Jersey. Try one of Tilton Fitness's award-winning group exercise classes with over 125 to choose from every week. Use our state-of-the-art cardio and resistance equipment. Take a swim in our pool. Relax in our jacuzzi, steam room, or sauna. And complimentary babysitting for up to 2 hours. Tilton Fitness. See what we have to offer you.
Ever wonder what ingredients are in Bud Light? Just check the packaging. We brew with hops, barley, water, and rice. Ever wonder what ingredients are in Coors Light? You can't check the packaging. You have to go to their website, download a PDF, and scroll to page 3. There it is. Coors Light brews with hop extract, barley, water, and corn syrup. Bud Light, brewed with no corn syrup. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri. Based on information available at MillerCoors.com as of January 16, 2019.
If you win the Mega Millions jackpot, you could celebrate by taking all of your friends out for a nice Italian meal in Rome. With $175 million on the line, anything can happen in Jersey.
This is Blackjacks Weekly.
Presented by Bud Light on 97.3 ESPN.
Live from Chickies and Pete's in Egg Harbor Township.
Back here at Chickies and Pete's in Egg Harbor Township, Blackjacks Weekly presented by Bud Light. Nick Kosko with you alongside Atlantic City Blackjacks head coach Ron James and quarterback Warren Smith. We have about a couple minutes to go, and boys, I want to bring you both back in for this one. A little bit of a rapid fire segment here, so a couple of questions. Now, both of you have been staying or doing something with the Ocean Casino. I know, Warren, you've been staying there during training camp. I believe are you staying there too, Coach?
Yes, I am.
Now, we know the Ocean Casino is great. It's a fantastic brand new building. I got to ask, how's the cafe food? We're talking high quality stuff here?
It's really good. You know, the biggest thing for linemen, there's a lot of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
and for the quarterbacks.
It's good, and there's a good variation in what they serve, and they do everything first class, so it's no exception there.
Yeah, and it's free. It's for me, man. It's all good.
I love that saying, to say the least. Warren, you actually asked before who I actually root for in the NFL, and so I wanted to ask you, both of you, your favorite NFL team growing up, if you had one. Mine's the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm a hometown guy.
Yep.
I'm pretty pumped by that Super Bowl a couple years ago. How about you?
I don't blame you. I don't want anyone to get upset with me, but I'm a diehard Giant fan. New York Giants.
Boy.
Eli Manning's my favorite. Been a big Blue fan since day one. So I stay low to those guys, and I can't wait to get to a couple games next year.
How about you, Coach?
Well, you know, as much as you might upset people with being a Giants fan, I'm a Patriots fan.
Oh,
so
no.
I've got everybody against me. Everybody
That's
all the
good.
time is against me. But all my family lives out in the Boston area now. My wife used to live in the Boston area. She used to live down the street from Doug Flutie, actually.
Oh, my goodness.
So, yeah.
We got Giants, Patriots, the two teams the Eagles probably hate the most besides the Dallas Cowboys, of course. That's going to do it.
We can all hate them.
Yeah, that's true. That's going to do it for us. For head coach Ron James, Warren Smith, I'm Nick Kosko saying so long. This has been Blackjacks Weekly presented by Bud Light right here on 97.3 ESPN.